Hello and welcome to the Fortress West Point Sprint 1 review video. Our product vision is to create an immersive, geographically based augmented reality application for iPhone that enhances the natural, historical experience that West Point provides via a virtual staff ride. Our Sprint 1 goal was to create a prototype of a user interface for an iOS iPhone application, and then within the design application to be able to move from screen to screen just without the features. This was a bare-bones framework design of what we want our application interface to look like. We also wanted to determine all of the features the application would have, determine the needed data structures and multimedia applications that would be integrated, and then continue developing ARKit skills from both the top-down and bottom-up perspective on the development side of things. Our calculated capacity for Sprint 1 was 166 expected hours. We actually only ended up going through 159 hours. This is primarily due to the fact that we had planned in a trip to Fort Putnam with the history majors, but due to scheduling constraints and lack of feasibility for the time frame, we couldn't actually make that happen. So that'll be something that happens in a future sprint.
Alex and I, Brian, worked on making the mock-up for this app. In order to make the mock-up for the UI design, we used Sketch, which essentially helped us build the actual pages for the app, the different pictures. And then we used InVision in order to make our transitions for the app as well. Next, we designed the icon for our app. The icon for our app, as you can see here, is essentially an iPhone with the Athena helmet, the AR icon, as well as the view of the Hudson River and the two hills on the side. The image in the background of the Hudson was based off of this view from Trophy Point. And the Athena's helmet we got from the official marketing rep for West Point. He gave us all the different files for all the logos for West Point. This includes this Athena helmet, West Point crest, and the United States Military Academy at West Point. Next, we designed the loading screen for our app. So this design is just a black background, and it has the 4 different emblems that matter to this app, which is West Point, AR, the EECS department, and History department. We're still having the random fact, because when we talked to Colonel Sedgley, he really liked the idea of having random facts display as your app loads, and we kept the loading bar as well to see the progress. So then we started designing the map for our app. Initially, we were going to use Google Earth, and essentially as you navigate West Point, your marker would move around the map in Google Earth. However, when we met with Colonel Sedgley, he wanted the map to be a little more customized versus just having details everywhere. And so, similar to Pokemon Go, we made our own map with our own specific colors. The ground is gray, roads are gold, all the buildings are black, and the river is blue. Now, these colors came from the marketing rep. All the different color codes, this is the West Point gold, West Point gray, the black, all came from the official West Point colors. We then designed the map screen. The map screen essentially looks like this, where we use the map that we created. And the green circle is the location where the augmented reality mode can be used. We have a search bar up here where if you want to search anything in Google Maps, it'll take you there. Your location is marked with this red GPS marker. There's a recenter button down here, where if you click it, it'll center the screen on you. And this blue button just indicates our transition to off-center in order to demonstrate the recenter button. Now, when you get closer, in the location where you can access augmented reality mode, the augmented reality button will pop up in the bottom left of the screen. When you click this, you'll go into the augmented reality mode. You'll be able to see the Great Chain. Then once the map screen was created, we created the augmented reality mode screen, which this screen, essentially, right now we have a stock photo that I took of from Trophy Point looking where the Great Chain would be. This simulates you having the app open and overlooking the Great Chain from Trophy Point. As of now in our mock-up, we don't have the actual augmented Great Chain. This is more just for the user interface aspect. But you can see here we have a button to take the photo. This will allow the user to take the photo of the Great Chain in the augmented reality mode. The button here will merely take the user back to their gallery. The button here, the back arrow, will merely take you back to the map mode where you can navigate West Point. And the button up here is the extra information button. This will take you to essentially another window that will have more information or perhaps interactable things where you can learn more about whatever you're looking at in the augmented reality mode. The extra information screen, once you're in the augmented reality mode, looks like this. Now this is just an example of a potential screen for the Great Chain. We based this design off of the Millard textbook as suggested by Colonel Sedgley, as well as going up to special collections and looking at what the design for old books were back in the time period of the Great Chain. Now, essentially, for the most part, there would be a picture that the user can see, and underneath that would be some form of description. We used this parchment-looking background, which matched the old parchment in special collections. The colors, as well as the design of how the picture, the exit button, and the font matches the font and colors of the Millard textbook as told by Colonel Sedgley. Once all the screens were created, we then created a transition diagram for the different screens. For this I used Visio, where you can see we have the flow chart, how you get from one screen to the other. Now, in between all the screens and the arrows are the methods in which you get from one screen to the other. For example, to get from this screen to this screen. In terms of the actual app, you will walk into the green circle from this location to the green circle, but in terms of our mockup, you will merely click on the green circle. Now, for demonstrating the actual mockup in Visio, we use, right here, is the initial screen of the iPhone, where you see our icon, which you can then click on. Here's a loading screen. Anywhere you click, it'll move on to the next page. And now here, let's imagine you are off-centered, cannot find where you're at. You merely need to click on the recenter button, and it brings you back to the original page. Now you can also click up here for the search bar. The search will become active. Click the cancel button, it's back to normal. Now we're going to simulate walking to the green circle by clicking on the green circle. You're now located at a trophy point where the new icon for the augmented reality mode becomes available. If you click that, it brings you to the augmented reality mode where you have your camera. In terms of this mockup, the camera button is useless, as well as this will just bring you back to the integrated iPhone gallery. However, if you click up here for the extra information button, it'll take you to our text-based information on the Great Chain. You can also click the exit and it'll bring you back to your augmented reality mode, as well as clicking the back arrow will bring you back to the map where you can navigate West Point.
Hello, my name is Craig Sheets, and for this sprint, my focus was on researching existing projects, seeing which elements we can possibly borrow from well-established AR apps, and going through the process of implementing and testing a few of these applications on my phone. Before I could look at these sample apps, I met with the history majors in order to gauge what AR functionalities they would need in order to tell their narrative. From this meeting, I ascertained that we would need to have stable 3D augmented reality objects. We would need to snap these objects to various planes, including horizontal surfaces and more complex planes, such as trees and other vertical planes. We also wanted to utilize GPS-based targets and display textual information as well as other media. Some existing open source project we found was a sample jet application, which actually comes with ARKit. And as you can see, this allows for a 3D object to be displayed, and it's extremely stable, even as you walk around it and change perspective, go from below. The jet is extremely stable and does not move or shift around. And some other projects we found were ARKit, the floor is lava, and occlusion, which allow for objects to be snapped to horizontal and vertical planes, as well as real-world objects, which will be extremely valuable to us when we're building our application. For GPS located targets, we found ARKit, core location on GitHub, which allows for GPS located targets to be associated with objects. And additionally, we found an application called ARText on GitHub, which allowed for extremely stable 3D text to be displayed. You can customize the size, and as you can see here, this is in front of Davis Barracks in low light condition, and the text being displayed is still extremely stable. Even as I walk through it, it doesn't move, it doesn't change its perspective or flicker, which is extremely impressive. Some barriers I had during this sprint were just the steep learning curve to Xcode and ARKit. Most sample applications which I was using were not just plug and play where you could clone them off GitHub and then run them using ARKit. They required a lot of retooling, advanced knowledge of ARKit to get them running, and some I was still not able to. Also, we had the free Apple developer account, which limited our ability to test and run applications during the sprint. However, EECS has now purchased a developer account for the department, so this is no longer an issue. Thank you, EECS. Moving forward, we plan on integrating what Cadets Wilton and Welton have learned from their basic development with their app, along with the features of the sample AR apps that I have been tracing through and testing, to start implementing the features we want our application to have. We'll work with Cadets Wilson and Gailashvili to start building our user interface and storyboards in Xcode, where we are building our other features within it. Thank you.
So here for the second part, we're going to show you my actual working on the app itself, starting with the developer's kit here called Jump Right In. This is a very intuitive thing that went directly through every step in building our first app. It had all these modules as shown here, so we can just go to a random one now just to give a quick overview of kind of what it looked like. So as shown above, it has these pictures that perfectly describe exactly what it's like to use Xcode. And as you can see down there, just straight example from Xcode on the sheet, very easy to work with, very useful when it comes to learning. Here you have a picture of the storyboards, and then the code. There was code that you could take right from here and just paste it on over to Xcode and then see how everything worked, and it really helped to gain an understanding of how coding in Xcode is going to work. So we can switch over to Xcode now. Here we have the storyboard, just like it was over on the website. And we have all of our different Swift files, and so these are all various parts of the project that talk to each other, basically, and get the app going. So we can go into our assistant mode, and this will bring up both sides at once. Now this is super helpful because learning about this is super helpful because it shows us how these two things can connect to each other, especially with the storyboard. So we can come over to the storyboard and switch to the controller that is talking to it, and we can see directly how each thing within the storyboard is connected to the code, and that's where it connects and how it connects. This was crucial in learning just how apps work. So now we're going to build the app. It'll compile a little bit here, and then we'll get a build succeed. There's our symbol here, so we can switch over to the simulator and give a little test. Now this app itself has nothing in particular to do with the app that we are developing. However, it was very helpful to be able to create it, get the navigation going, see these basic iPhone commands with editing text, saving things, transitions, a little rating system down there. You can add, in this particular case, a new meal, so this is good with databasing and understanding how we can implement a database into our system and save these things. Like in this case it's a meal, and we could save such a thing into the app, which is what this helped us learn. And then other basic functions being like deleting from a list, just like that, could be very helpful when it comes to working on our app later on. So that wraps up everything that I did. Yes.
As we look at our product roadmap, establishing the user interface during Sprint 1 is certainly a key to success and will serve as a guiding compass in the coming sprints. As we move forward into the next sprint, a few things we need to make sure we take into consideration are determining the acquisitions process for the 3D objects that will be integrated into the application, determining further ARKit requirements for developing the predefined features as per what we have described in the mockup, creating the small-scale test applications and working up to our final features to be integrated, and then determining feasible ways to integrate the historical narrative within the application. Further detail on the goals for Sprint 2 will come out of our next planning session. Thank you for your time and have a great day.